The primordial clash, a symphony of fire, ice, and light. In the darkness of the ancient void, it is not empty. It is a canvas waiting for the first stroke of creation, or perhaps the final stroke of destruction. In the heart of the mystical ether, two symbols of absolute power begin to drift toward one another. They're not merely carvings, they are the living manifestations of the universe's most fundamental laws. On one side, the rune of Ignis, pulsing with a rhythmic, molten crimson glow. On the other, the rune of Glacius, radiating a cold, piercing cerulean light that seems to freeze the very air around it. The tension between them is physical. As they draw closer, the space between them begins to distort. Gravity bends. The silence of the void is replaced by a low, vibrating hum that threatens to shatter reality itself. Then, the impossible happens. The two absolute opposites touch. The moment of contact is not a slow merge, but a violent rejection. Fire does not simply melt the ice, and ice does not simply extinguish the flame. Instead, they fight for dominance with a ferocity that defies natural physics. The red and blue energies lace together for a fraction of a second, forming a swirling vortex of violet chaos before the pressure becomes unbearable. Suddenly, the world disappears into a blinding flash. The collision triggers a massive explosion, but it is not an explosion of fire or shards of frost. It is an explosion of pure, transcendent light. Billions of tiny, shimmering particles erupt from the center of the impact, cascading outward like a supernova of glitter and stardust. These particles dance in the air, each one a fragment of the broken runes, glowing with the combined residue of heat and cold. It is a visual masterpiece of destruction and rebirth, where the elements cease to be matter and become pure energy. To understand this event, one must look back to the origins of runecraft. In the ancient chronicles of the elemental masters, it was written that fire and ice were never meant to meet in their purest forms. Fire represents the kinetic energy of the soul, the drive to expand and consume. Ice represents the absolute stillness of the mind, the power to preserve and solidify. They are the two pillars upon which the physical world is built. When these pillars strike each other, the foundation of reality trembles. The observer of this event would see the particles slowly begin to settle, though they never truly touch the ground. They float in a state of perpetual suspension, creating a nebula of light that illuminates the surrounding darkness for miles. This phenomenon, known in some circles as the celestial residue, is the only evidence left of the rune's existence. The heat has been neutralized, the cold has been tempered. What remains is only the light, the fundamental essence that existed before the elements were divided. In the aftermath of the explosion, the atmosphere changes. The air feels charged, vibrating with a static energy that makes the hair stand on end. The brilliant display of particle effects serves as a reminder that even in conflict, there is a strange, terrifying beauty. The runes are gone, sacrificed to create this singular moment of perfection. The story of fire and ice is a story of balance. While they are often viewed as enemies, their collision proves they are two sides of the same coin. Without the heat of the fire, the ice has no purpose to freeze. Without the stillness of the ice, the fire would burn until nothing remains. Their meeting, while destructive, is a necessary reset, a return to the light from which all magic originally flowed. As the last of the glowing particles finally dim and fade into the shadows, the void returns to its silent state. But the space is no longer the same. The memory of the explosion lingers, a ghostly echo of the time when the two most powerful symbols in existence decided to collide. The runes may be lost, but the light they created will be whispered about in the halls of mages and scholars for generations to come. It was not just a battle of elements, it was the birth of something entirely new, written in the language of sparks and shadows.